This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Friday, the 22nd day of August in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. From the crack of dawn, members of the discipline services were gathered this morning to vote in the 2025 national elections, ahead of the rest of the country. At Police Headquarters Ivalery, the polling stations opened promptly at 6 o'clock, with the Commissioner of Police Clifton Hicken being the first to cast his ballot. A number of other senior officers followed closely, as junior officers and recruits waited their turn. Within minutes of entering the polling station, the top cop emerged and explained that the process was a smooth one.
I think I've exercised my democratic right this morning, and it's my right to vote, and I've done just that. The process in terms of GCOM, I think based on what I would have observed just now, they're on time and everything is going smooth.
Commissioner Hicken also said regular checks were being done at other police locations to ensure the process was progressing without issue.
In fact, I'm going to spend the entire day visiting stations and all the areas where they're being voting to ensure that everything is going smooth.
As for voting by the rest of the country on the 1st of September, the police commissioner said the police and the joint services are already in a state of readiness.
Before election, we've been working with the joint services in terms of our ISS, that's the training. In addition to that, we've had our units prepared. We have the training that is ongoing now. And so we're adequately prepared. Remember, nomination day we were quiet. We expect that this day is going to be quiet. And similarly, for the general regional election, we expect it to be quiet.
Across at the headquarters of the Guyana Defense Force, Chief of Defense Staff Brigadier Omar Khan was the first to cast his ballot. And he told reporters that there are 24 voting places for the GDF members across the country, and there has been no reported issue.
My experience just now was a very organized and smooth one, and I want to thank all those who were responsible for ensuring that this was done successfully, at least when I wasn't there. I do not anticipate any issue because all soldiers are expressing and exercising their democratic right to participate in this beautiful and important process.
Brigadier Khan noted the importance of members of the military exercising their right to vote in the elections.
As you know, traditionally the joint services would vote before the general public would vote, and that is scheduled for the 1st of September. Throughout the day, soldiers will decide without coercion, vote as their right is so deemed to each one of them. And I expect no issue throughout the day.
Prison officers were also out early at their polling stations casting their ballots in the elections. Prison Director Nicholas Elliott.
The process went very smooth. At 6 o'clock, all the polling stations were open at all the prison facilities, which allowed the prison officers to exercise their constitutional responsibility. And thus far, we're having a very smooth process. During my period at the polling station, I want to say that it went very smooth. The staff of GCOM did an excellent job in the level of professionalism, and I want to commend them for that.
There are 6 political parties contesting the 2025 elections. Stay tuned, more news coming up in just a moment.
Your own home is so much more than just 4 walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
In Guyana, roads don't give you a break, and neither should your truck. That's why there's the Isuzu D-Max, built with turbo diesel power, high clearance, and 4x4 control that owns the off-road. It's strong, smart, and tough enough for any job. The Isuzu D-Max is more than a pickup. It's your ultimate working partner. Available at Marix, the authorized Isuzu dealer. Call 226-1306 for more details. Isuzu D-Max, master of all roads.
We ready, time to remove the curse.
The APNU Coalition campaign now moves to the east bank of Demerara, Mocha Arcadia, on Friday, the 22nd of August from 6 p.m. Come out and hear from our candidates. Come out and hear about our people-centered development strategy that puts you first. Come out and hear from our Prime Ministerial candidate, Jurita Fernandez, our presidential candidate, Aubrey C. Norton, and others. This Friday, the 22nd of August, Mocha Arcadia will vibrate with a people-powered campaign. APNU, putting people first.
We ready, time to remove the curse.
Dreaming of studying in the United States? Education USA is here to help you find your perfect fit. With nearly 4,000 higher education institutions in the US, there is something for everyone. At Education USA, the goal is to provide you with accurate, unbiased, and comprehensive information about higher educational opportunities in the United States. Our Education USA advisor is ready to guide you towards your academic journey. Join the growing community of Guyanese students achieving their dreams with Education USA. We welcome students from all backgrounds and cultures. Start your journey today.
Well, as members of the Discipline Services voted today, leaders from the 6 political parties contesting the elections said the voting process appeared without major incidents. At the Guyana Police Force officers' mess at Evaleri, President Irfan Ali told reporters that from his observations, there were no issues.
From what I have seen, it's a very smooth process, very efficient process. You can also see the notices telling voters about the secrecy of the ballot. So what I've seen this morning is a very smooth.
And during his visits to the polling places, presidential candidate for the APNU, Aubrey Norton, said the voting process from observations was being conducted without any major issues. However, he expressed concern over the presence of the Commissioner of Police, Clifton Hicken, at various polling stations throughout the day.
I heard that Hicken and company walking around to polling stations, which is not a legal practice. We'll have to address that because you can't be the Commissioner of Police and the head of the army and walking around. In fact, that is, in some regard, using your authority to kind of pressure people. Policemen and so should be allowed to vote without any of the senior persons being around. So that's one of my concerns. But outside of that, we just want to ensure that they're free and fair elections and that the law is followed.
Mr. Norton also complained that at some polling stations there was not enough being done to ensure that electors were not using their cell phones to capture images of their ballots. Further, he warned that should there be any attempt to rig the elections, there will be serious consequences. Over at St. Stanislaus College, which was a polling place for the Discipline Services, Forward Guyana Movement presidential candidate Amanza Wharton Desir said while voting was going well and there were no major complaints, the party was concerned that miscommunication on the part of GCOM had resulted in some party agents showing up at polling stations without their accreditation letters.
We were told that submitting the letters with the names of the persons would be sufficient, that there would be no badges or accreditation letters issued. So we're trying to get to the bottom of that miscommunication as well, because I would hate for the public to think that parties did not issue accreditations as has been suggested. So we're following up on that.
Wharton Desir said the party was pleased that it was able to field agents at the major polling stations. And presidential candidate for the We Invest in Nationhood Party, Azruddin Mohammed, also visited the polling stations at St. Stanislaus. He told News Source that he was pleased with the conduct of the polls.
So far the process is moving perfect, no complaint. We visited about 6 stations so far. and we are pleased as of now.
And Alliance for Change leader presidential candidate Nigel Hughes visited polling stations at the GDF's Camp Stevenson and at the Tamiri police station. According to him, it was an uneventful day.
But we started at Camp Stevenson up at Tamiri with the Army headquarters. The reports from all the polling agents was that it was uneventful. We went to about 3 or 4 buildings there. I also visited the Tamiri police station. And again, similar report, uneventful, and we're now at the police headquarters.
And Assembly for Liberty and Prosperity presidential candidate Simona Brooms said she too was satisfied with the process.
It's my agent, it's okay. I had no complaints from her as to this polling place here. So we're doing the rounds and going around, checking on the other polling places, just to ensure and observe what is happening so we get a feel of what to expect on the force.
The majority of the leaders visited polling stations and the police officers' mess at Ivleri, the Guyana Police Force Training Center, the Army Headquarters Base Camp Ghana, and the Camp Street Prison Administrative Building. Deputy Chief Election Officer Anil Giddings this morning said there was no issue with the opening of polls for the Discipline Services vote this morning across the country, as the voting process kicked off for this year's elections.
I don't have any major issue that hampered the opening of polls at all the locations across the spectrum. We have those aircraft movements that should be well underway from Ogle going to Region 8, Region 9 and so on. So I think for now I haven't received any untoward information that has been affecting polls.
The Deputy Chief Election Officer noted, however, that there were some issues with some party agents at some polling stations, but those issues were sorted.
So some of the parties would not have issued their accreditation letters or their appointment letters to their agents. Yes, we did have communication from the agents informing us that these are the persons appointed. Unfortunately, they didn't have their letters, so our ballot attendants, they're trained to ask for these letters of appointment, and we have been working with the parties and the attendants to ensure that the agents are participating in the process.
There are more than 10,000 members of the Discipline Services participating in the elections. International and local observers were seen this morning visiting a number of polling stations to observe the process. Well, the Guyana Elections Commission is hoping to provide an average on the voter turnout for the Discipline Services vote by Sunday. That's according to GCOM Public Relations Officer Yolanda Ward. Some 10,481 ranks from across the Discipline Services were expected to cast their ballots today, ahead of the September 1 elections. Of that number, 6,909 are members of the Guyana Police Force, 3,106 are ranks of the Guyana Defense Force, and 466 are prison officers. Speaking to the media this morning, the GCOM Public Relations Officer explained that the voting and counting process is different for the Discipline Services.
These officers are afforded the opportunity to vote in the district where they are assigned to work, and not in the district where they are registered to vote. So when the ballots arrive in country, we've gone through a process of extraction and sorting those 10,481 ballots in the presence of political party agents.
She explained that at the close of poll, when the ballots are returned, they will be sorted by the respective districts and will be placed in secured custody according to district, and will be intermixed with other ballots on elections day, and will be counted in the district where the officers are registered to vote.
We will go through this process immediately after the close of poll in terms of the sorting of those ballots, and I anticipate that the latest by Sunday we should be able to complete that processing because we have a very efficient team that will be working to complete that task.
The GCOM PRO said that although there were early complaints from some members of the Discipline Services that their ballots were not being stamped with a 6-digit number, there is no need for alarm.
I want to particularly clarify that on Discipline Services balloting day, the ballots are not stamped with the 6-digit number, but when they're being intermixed at that polling station on election day, it is stamped with that 6-digit number of that polling station and placed into that ballot box and intermixed for counting on that day. That is what is the legal process that is allowed for, and so that is exactly what we will be doing.
There were no reports of any problems at the polling stations for the Discipline Services today.
Friday, August 22nd is the day. Come out to the World site on Mandela Avenue at 5 p.m. for the PPPC's public meeting. The main speakers are the Honorable Minister of Public Works, Bishop Juan Hedger, the Honorable Attorney General, Anil Nandalal, and the Honorable Minister of Labor, Joseph Hamilton. Other speakers are James Bond, Siobhan Dugan, Colleen Sampson, and Alicia Amos. This meeting will be chaired by Steve Ninvo. The PPPC's public meeting, Friday, August 22nd at World site in West Rhineville. Forward together for a better Guyana. Vote PPPC.
Your own home is so much more than just 4 walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Contrary to popular belief, voting is easy as 1, 2, 3. On the ballot paper, provision is made for you to vote twice. Once on the top section where you vote for the general election, and once at the bottom section where you vote for the regional election. All you need to do is look for the name and symbol of the party of your choice in the top section for the general election, and mark your X in the empty box next to the party symbol. Then, look for the name and symbol of the party of your choice in the bottom section for the regional election, and mark your X in the empty box next to the party symbol. After you have voted, you are required to fold the ballot paper as shown by the election official. Dip the first joint of your right index finger in indelible ink and place the ballot paper in the ballot box. You will then have to leave the polling station. For further information, contact GCOM's hotlines at 225-027729, 226-6557, 223-9650, or visit the GCOM website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Washi. Hi people. Washing made so easy since I found Washi. Washi me use wash me clothes and I can say Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder leave me clothes smelling nice, of course. So give thanks to Washi soap powder for doing my laundry right. Keep my clothes color bright. Have my clothes smelling nice for sure. I could not ask for more. Comes in lemon and original. It is a washing machine in a pack. Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder have my clothes smelling nice, of course.
Distributors located in the Stabrook Market.
Yo, Ricky, I hear that you can't cheat at elections, boy.
Yeah, boy. You can't cheat at elections, and if you try to cheat, you will be caught. When you are caught, you will be prosecuted in court, and if found guilty, you will go to jail and pay a big fine.
How will they catch me if I try to cheat?
GCOM has put in place several measures to identify persons who would attempt to cheat. As an ordinary voter, the measures that apply to you are ensuring that you cannot impersonate another voter, checking your fingers for the presence of indelible ink, and being scrutinized by the party agents who are stationed at the polling stations.
Well, yes, Ricky, you're right, boy. Nobody can cheat.
For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-027729 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
presidential candidate of the We Invest in Nationhood Party, Azruddin Mohammed, has hailed the Carter Center pre-election report as welcoming, even as the governing PPP has cast doubt on some sections of that same report. The observer mission, the Carter Center, flagged reports of the use of state resources by the PPP to campaign and potential voter intimidation. Speaking to reporters this morning, Mr. Mohammed said the report is true and correct.
The report is fair, it's nothing but the truth, and everyone in this country, they're observing what is going on. You saw just the other day, yesterday in Mabaruma, they locked up my campaign manager, had her there, female, had her there from 10 p.m. to 9 a.m. in the morning for noise nuisance. Is this fair? This is not fair. And I know everyone is observing what is going on in this country. The level of victimization. The level of victimization my supporters are receiving. I don't worry about the victimization. That's okay. I will stand firm and stand strong all the way.
Mohammed made the comments just after observing the Discipline Services vote at Ivleri. He said his party will be pushing to gain the attention of the undecided voters more in the remaining days of the campaign.
And the ones that are on the fence presently, you have no other option than to vote for the Win Party. Because the Win Party is not just a party, it's a movement. It's a team of good people, trusted people that will work tirelessly to ensure that we better your lives.
The Win Party leader also rejected claims that he was previously in bed with the governing PPP, offering full support and donations until there was a fallout. He said his decision to seek office came as a result of the cries of the people of Guyana for a change and new leadership. Well, President Irfan Ali has rejected the concern by the Carter Center that the governing People's Progressive Party Civic has been misusing state resources for political campaign purposes. In a pre-election report, the Carter Center said it was in receipt of multiple allegations from political parties and civil society that the ruling PPP has been misusing state resources. But the president said that aspect of the report is absolutely wrong.
First of all, let me say on state resources, absolutely not true.
Mr. Ali said as an incumbent government there are always allegations of abuse of state resources, but he assured that his party's campaign is fully funded by the party and its support base.
Our party, as you know, might have been the only party that would have had so many fundraisers. You have seen it all across the country, so we have been able to raise enough resources with the love and support of the people. With the love and support of our supporters and members, and we have been able to raise enough resources to efficiently carry out our campaign and our work for these elections. So there is no need for state resources, and state resources have not been deployed.
The Carter Center said the use of state resources for party campaigning runs contrary to Guyana's international obligations with respect to campaign financing. The Observer Mission also noted that it has also received reports of biased reporting by the state media. The report also cited concerns over the president's promotion of 2,800 police ranks in the lead-up to the elections and his announcement of toll-free crossings at the main bridges. On the issue of the closure of bank accounts of the Win candidates by some commercial banks and the Carter Center calling the move over compliance, the president said the commercial banks do not operate in isolation.
We have a banking association. The corresponding banking relationship is important. Banks don't operate in isolation of a global financial system. Our financial institutions are part of a global financial system, and that is what people don't understand. This is not a government giving instruction. These are banks operating within their global standards and within a global financial system that can penalize them.
President Ali said persons associated with the Win Party, which is led by businessman Azruddin Mohammed, who is under sanction by the U.S. government, were warned that there would be consequences. According to the president, the government cannot be faulted for that. On the campaign trail tonight, APNU candidate Ronald Daniels has called on residents of Agricola to reject the PPP and its promises, reminding them that their community has been starved of development under the PPP. Daniels, who's also an attorney at law, said the governing party has a history of not investigating police excesses and extrajudicial killings in communities like Agricola.
That red that the PPP has, that red is a symbolic red. It's only we don't understand that red. That red represents the blood of all the Shaquille Grants that are shot down in this country. That red represents the blood of Ronaldo Peters that they shot down in London the other day. And the same thing that they did to Shaquille Grant, they did to Ronaldo Peters. They said, you know what? These were bad boys. They put up resistance towards the police. And the police had to shoot them down in defense of themselves.
He also spoke about other police killings, including recent and previous incidents in Linden. Daniel said too many families have been left mourning under the PPP.
After they done shoot down Ronaldo Peters the day before, if that wasn't enough, they shoot for Jenny a couple hours after. And that is the people y'all want to govern y'all. The youths who wearing the red and the blue in this community. That is the people y'all want to govern y'all. Y'all gonna put on the red, and is y'all blood gonna be wrapped up in that very same red. Not in Agricola.
And he told Agricola youths not to get carried away by new parties in the race. He said the presidential candidate of the Win Party, Azruddin Mohammed, was a big supporter of the PPP.
Where was Win when the youths in this community been losing their lives? I will tell you where Win was. Win was friends with the PPP, and because the relationship broke up, that is when they suddenly know that the PPP treating people bad. They were providing guns for the PPP. They said it themselves. They were providing vehicles for the PPP. They said it themselves.
The APNU candidate said his party's vision is people-centered and offers more than just hope for Agricola and other communities.
Live the island dream. It's your chance to be one of over 100 winners in the Island Dream promotion. Win your share of more than $1 million in cash and prizes, plus 2 all-inclusive weekend staycations for 2. And that's not all. Score coolers packed with Buster, Turbo, Altitude and Viva. Just buy any can or bottle of Turbo, Buster, Altitude or Viva. Find the code starting with BB, then visit at Buster Guyana or Turbo_Caribbean on IG or Facebook for details.
Live the island dream, get money. Live the island dream. We ready, time to remove the curse.
The APNU Coalition campaign now moved to Region 5, Hope Town, on Saturday, the 23rd of August from 6 p.m. Come out and hear from our candidates. Come out and hear about our people-centered development strategy that puts you first. Come out and hear from our Prime Ministerial candidate, Jurita Fernandez, our presidential candidate, Aubrey C. Norton, and others. This Saturday, the 23rd of August, the village of Hope Town will vibrate with a people-powered campaign. APNU, putting people first.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyana is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyana's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyana has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
What's going on here, man? Why the two of y'all look so gloomy?
Uncle Joe, you know thief man been in we house and thief all we valuables, including we ID card. Now election come wrong and we want to go vote. We ain't get no ID card to identify ourselves. No, we can't go vote.
Well, you need to apply to GCOM to have your ID cards replaced. But you need not worry that you won't be able to vote because you don't have your ID cards. GCOM has put other measures in place to accurately identify voters like you who may not have your ID cards.
But how they gonna do that?
How they gonna know is we name on the list if we don't have ID to prove it?
In addition to your ID card, voters can present their valid passports or valid driver's license if they have these.
Really?
But further, GCOM has placed your photograph alongside your name on a folio which will be at the polling station. And if you go to the polling station without a photo ID, you will be asked to state your name and address. The elections official will look at your face and then compare it with the photo alongside your name on the folio to confirm that they are the same. Then you'll have to answer some questions to verify your identity. If the election official is satisfied that you are the person who you claim to be, you will be allowed to vote after taking an oath of identity.
So you get to vote?
For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-02779 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall. In the region, Grenada's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has confirmed that the United States has placed a visa restriction on the country's Minister of Finance. The ministry said the measure was communicated during a meeting between Grenada's ambassador to the United States and a delegation from the U.S. Department of State in Washington on August 19. In a statement, the government said it viewed the discussions as a positive step forward in strengthening mutual understanding and cooperation. It said at the meeting, the U.S. confirmed that visa restrictions will be applied, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has since received official notification that a restriction has been placed on the Minister of Finance. It added that both governments reaffirmed their commitment to the long-standing relationship and agreed to continue using diplomatic channels to address matters of concern. The ministry said it will provide further information as discussions continue. The Bolivarian Alliance for the Peoples of Our America People's Trade Treaty, ALBA TCP, held an extraordinary summit Wednesday, voicing support for Venezuela as U.S. warships head toward the Southern Caribbean. The virtual meeting, hosted by Caracas, brought together heads of state and representatives from Cuba, Venezuela, Bolivia, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dominica, Grenada, and St. Lucia. Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel said the deployment of U.S. naval and air assets under the command of Southern Command represented a strategic move beyond counter-narcotics, warning it could destabilize regional peace. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro described the alliance as an alliance of warriors for peace and thanked ALBA members for their solidarity. The summit declaration rejected what it called false pretexts for foreign intervention and reaffirmed support for Venezuela's sovereignty. The statement also urged the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, CELAC, to convene an extraordinary meeting of foreign ministers in response to the situation. The meeting came as 3 U.S.-guided missile destroyers, the USS Gravely, the USS Jason Dunham, and the USS Sampson, prepare to operate in international waters near Venezuela. Washington says the mission, supported by about 4,000 U.S. sailors and Marines, is aimed at disrupting narcotics trafficking networks in the Caribbean. And finally tonight, international news. The United Nations chief has described the famine confirmed in Gaza City and its surrounding areas as a failure of humanity. Antonio Guterres said the situation was a man-made disaster after a UN-backed body which identifies hunger levels around the world raised its food insecurity status in parts of the territory to phase 5, the highest and most severe. The Integrated Food Security Phase Classification IPC says more than 500,000 people across Gaza are facing catastrophic conditions characterized by starvation, destitution, and death. The report was labeled as an outright lie by Israel, which has denied there is starvation in the territory. The UN says Israel is continuing to restrict the amount of aid entering Gaza, which Israel also denies. Its denials are in direct contradiction to what more than 100 humanitarian groups, witnesses on the ground, multiple UN bodies, and several of Israel's allies, including the UK, have said. The IPC says that an immediate, at-scale response is needed, or there will be an unacceptable escalation in famine-related deaths. It predicts that between mid-August and the end of September, famine will expand across the Strip to other parts, including Khan Younis. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall, wishing you a pleasant evening.